Hello, Lightworkers and Starseeds. My name is Elizabeth Kristen. Welcome to my channel, Bridge to 5D. So with this channel, I am creating an energetic bridge or a portal, if you will, to assist Lightworkers in anchoring their consciousness in 5D. So how I do that is by holding space or creating the energetic environment for Lightworkers so they can connect with their divine gift and create abundance in all areas of their life. So the fourth dimension. So the fourth dimension is kind of a weird space. It can feel like you're on shifting grounds, like maybe you have 1 foot in one reality and 1 foot in another. And kind of what it is, it's like, and it's sort of meant to be like that, really destabilizing. And what it's kind of meant to be is, so imagine a puzzle. You have a whole puzzle, and that's your belief system, and it's all put together, and it's like a prism through which you see the world. And what the 4D space is for is to basically take that puzzle and like dump it. So now you've got all these pieces, some are upside down, some are right side up. And so the 4D space is to go through each one of those beliefs and, do I want to keep this? Does this serve me? Because the 4D space, as you connect more and more with your higher self, you shift from becoming the one that's thinking the thoughts in your head to the one that's observing the thoughts in your head. So that space, that distance you have now from your thoughts allows you to have more of a, try to explain the energy, like a detached judgment. So you're not really in it. So you're sort of detached from it and you can see it for what it is, a lie. All beliefs are lies, all of them. There's only one truth. I am. That's it. Everything else is a limitation. Beliefs are limitations, limitations are lies. But you realize you came here for the 3D Earth human experience. And in order to navigate the 3D Earth human experience, you need a persona. You need a belief system. So the 4D space is for, these were the belief systems that were downloaded onto me that I accepted unconsciously. The 4D space is for which ones serve me and which ones don't. And I get rid of them. I don't need them. They're not yours. They're all borrowed. You can pick and choose whichever one you want. They're all lies. You can pick whichever one serves you the best. So you could have the belief that spiritual people shouldn't want abundance, that the law of attraction isn't spiritual, treating the universe like, that you can just order from the universe. That's not very spiritual. Spiritual people shouldn't have desires. I think I already said that. Or whatever some concoction of all those beliefs might be. Or your belief could be, my desires are divine guidance. My unique gift is easily monetized. Good people do good things with money. Money is just energy. It's neither good nor bad. The more I receive and the more I allow, the more I can give. So they're both limitations and lies. Which one serves you? Which one is going to work for you? So as I was sitting down, I had the inspiration to make this video about the 4D space and about belief systems around abundance. And I was sitting there kind of writing down the points I wanted to make. I got this download and I'm all of a sudden at a coffee shop, like a Starbucks. And there is a woman sitting with 2 girlfriends. One is an employee, but they're friends from way back. And the other one, I think, is a friend from college. And this woman started a business being like a motivational speaker for car salesmen. So she'd go to all these big car dealerships and she'd give these talks to motivate car salesmen. And it was a really masculine industry. And she brought feminine energy to it. So they worked on, releasing emotional trauma, removing abundance blocks, visualizations, working through emotional trauma where you might have a belief system of I'm not enough or I'm not deserving. So she brought this really feminine energy to it. And she wanted soul fulfilling work. But what was equally as important to her, if not even more important, was bank account fulfilling work. So I saw like her vision board, and it was a Range Rover and a BMW and a house in the Bahamas, like some island house. What else is on there? Oh, designer handbags, $3,000 and $4,000 handbags. And so you could have this attitude of her desiring, what you could perceive as materialistic or consumeristic things isn't spiritual. Or you could have the belief that source energy is everything, creates everything. It's almost like the same energy, like the divine intelligence that's in the quantum soup we all swim in, so to speak, that created this table, created this body, created that expensive handbag, and any judgment you could have, this is good, that's bad. It's spiritual to want this, but it's not spiritual to want that. It's all nonsense. And so I'm seeing her, and she's sitting there, and she's got the big expensive handbag, and she is dressed to the nines, and she's sitting with her girlfriends. And then I was shown this college-aged girl, and she's somewhere around the age of 22, and she's just in this really dark space. And she's just graduating college. She got a 4-year degree in something like English literature, something like that. I couldn't quite read the energy, but it wasn't anything that she could really use. She was looking at having to move in with her parents, and she came from a religious family. And I mean, they went to church on Sundays, but just the dogma just got to her, to the point where when she left home and went to college, she wanted to puke anytime she heard somebody talk about God or Jesus. It just, the hair stood on the back of her neck, and she wanted to run. And she was brought up in sort of like religious piety and humbleness, and frugalness is what spirituality is when it comes to abundance. And she just found the dogma just to be really oppressive. And so she's sitting there, and her eyes wander. She's standing in line at the coffee shop, and her eyes wander to that handbag. And she knows right away exactly what that handbag is and exactly how much that costs. And then her eyes wander to the shoes, and she knew exactly what those were and how much those cost. And she's looking at this woman who's probably like in her mid-30s, and she's just glowing. She's happy, and she's laughing, and she's talking with her hands, and her friends are laughing, and they're talking about this book that they're reading, because these friends get together like once a week, and they do this little book club. And they're talking about like all the shifts that they experienced while they read it. And, it even made her rethink some of her business goals. And so they started talking about God in a way this college girl had never heard anyone talk about God. And so she's like, I can see her like eking forward, trying to figure out what the book is that they're so excited about, that they're talking about. And it was Conversations with God by Neale Donald Walsch. And so then I saw her leave the coffee shop, and she wandered into a Barnes and Noble, and she found the book. And she didn't even have the money to buy the book. She just sat there and read the book from cover to cover right there. And she used her camera phone to take pictures of pages, kind of like on the sly, so that she could go home and write them in her journal. And she credits that day in that coffee shop and that book with a whole shift in perspective. And from there, she goes on, and then I see her 5 years later, my guides show me, she's on stage, and she's in front of probably 500-600 people talking about spirituality, talking about that day in the coffee shop and how she wished she knew, she wished she could find that woman and let her know that purse, which at the time was like $4,000, so that $4,000 purse that caught her eye was why she was there. And so I just kind of sat there and thought about that, the lesson of, you know, you never know. You literally cannot judge anything. You have no idea why you want what you want, or how this path will take you to that path. And one of my favorite sort of like parables is, this ascended master lives in a village, and one day the villagers run to the ascended master and say, oh, master, look, this boy in the village got this beautiful horse for his birthday. Isn't this wonderful? Isn't this a blessing? And the master goes, we'll see. And so then a week later, he gets bucked off the horse and breaks his leg, and they run to the master. Oh no, he's broken his leg. Isn't this awful? And the master goes, we'll see. And then, war broke out. And so the king's soldiers came to all the villages to take all the boys to join the army. But this boy was injured, so they didn't take him. And they ran to him and they said, Master, master, the boy was spared. Isn't that a blessing? And he said, we'll see. So, and I have one more thing too I wanted to share with this. So it was a couple of years ago, I had a client who was visualizing the house that she wanted to manifest. And she was visualizing having like a homeowners, or not homeowners, but like a first, home welcoming, or like I don't know, those parties when you buy a house and then everybody comes over to see the house once you're all moved in. And so she was visualizing, all of her friends and her family coming over. And she had this like pang of like shame and guilt, because her cousin was a really good friend from childhood who really struggles financially. And this woman, this client of mine, her business had just started taking off. So she was really expanding, what she could do with this. And she was so excited in what she could create. And so as she visualized this, she felt this pang of shame and guilt that I would be rubbing my success in someone else's face. That's not very spiritual, that I'm trying to show off, that I'm going to make her feel bad with my success and my abundance. And just coming to the realization that she was telling herself an absolute nonsense story based on nothing. She had no idea how her cousin would react. She couldn't get in her head. She couldn't read her mind. It is just as true that her family would come over and her cousin would see this amazing life she built for herself, be inspired, go to her cousin and say, oh my God, I can't believe what you've created. This is fantastic. You inspire me so much. This is, you've opened my eyes to what's possible. And so she realized that just as surely as she was telling herself the story that she should feel guilty for wanting to manifest success, she could just as easily tell herself the story that her success inspires her dearest and closest friends, that her success creates a ripple. And as she creates success for herself and has the intention of creating abundance for herself, she's setting that intention for everyone she loves. As what she dreams to realize for herself, she dreams to realize for everyone. So in creating abundance for herself, because we are all connected, she's creating abundance for everyone. So what the 4D space is for is, which belief stirs you and which story do you prefer? They're both stories. They're both made up. If you have to have a story, you might as well pick which one makes you feel better, which one serves you best, which one serves the light best. All right, light workers, that is all I have for now. So my email is linked in the description box, and you're welcome to leave in the comments. So how I create these videos, how I get my topics is I either tune into the energy of the collective of light workers, my collective, so you guys. So I'll tune into your energy and I'll feel like sort of, I don't know, just this inspiration. Like, I think that this is what my people need. I think they need to hear this today. I feel this energy. I feel like this is something they need to hear. Or if I have like this common thread that runs through clients where I'm seeing like this same energetic stuck point, but manifesting itself in a myriad of ways but the same energy through multiple different iterations in 3D. So I'll use those things. But if you have something that you're struggling with or a question that you have, feel free to email it to me or leave it in the comments section, and I will bump those requests to the top of the list. So, all right. Godspeed, Starseeds.